Hi, this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you a little tip to finishing your pearl knotting pieces. Now, as you can see, I have a piece here, and this is a little bracelet that I created, and I want to draw your attention to the ends because this is a little bit of a finishing technique I want to discuss. So over here I'm using a thread protector, or a wire protector if you will, on this end, and that's that little horseshoe piece that you see there. Now you can see that I have a nice knot, and I haven't trimmed the ends, so you can see that both are exactly the same. But what I want to do is I have to trim this knot because I can't string it back through. So sometimes what you'll see is that we'll kind of take this cord and string it back through if we're doing a strung piece. But in a knotting piece, you don't really want a couple of extra kind of knots going through. You want it to look really nice and uniform and beautiful. So what we're going to do is I need to trim that knot, but I want to make sure that it's extra secure. Now I will say that to each end here, so when I finished the piece, I took some GS Hypo cement, and this is really great for pearl knotting. This is definitely our recommended choice. What I did is I added a little dab of glue to each little knot. Now, that being said, I want to add a little bit more, but here's where I want to get into kind of a little tip or a trick. Now, I do like the way that this looks here at the end, but I do want to say that you can add, if you want, you can add more for a little added security, and that's what we're going to do here. But like I said, if you just wanted to trim those ends and carry on about your business, feel free to do so. So this is just a tip if you want to do something a little extra. So as you can see here, I have two little crimp covers. Now these are these like little C-shaped things here. Let me kind of bring one up to the camera there. So it's like a little C shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another dab of glue and then immediately add on that crimp cover. So it's going to kind of clamp around the glue. All right, so for this you're going to need a pair of chain nose pliers here, and of course I have my scissors, but you can use snips as well, whatever you kind of have. You just want something that's going to have a nice little point to be able to get in there nice and easily. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to come in and cut it off. Now I would recommend not adding the glue and then trying to cut it, because you'll get glue on your scissors. So this is why we're doing it this way. All right, now try to cut as close as you can. All right, I'm going to set that aside. And this is the nice thing about the GS Hypo cement. You can undo it there, and it has that little pinpoint at the top. So you can see that you can get in there really nicely. There we go. All right, now I'm going to take a moment and cover up my glue. And now take that crimp cover and I'm going to slide it. Actually, here, let's do this. Let's grip it with our chain nose pliers there. So kind of grip it just like that. And then we can kind of slide it over the knot, and then we're ready to give it a little gentle squeeze to start having that crimp. Now, sometimes you have to work your pliers around to get that to close up, because we want it to look like a nice little bead there. All right, there we go. So now you can see that it looks like a nice little sort of almost like a knot cover. So that's what we're using the crimp cover here for. All right, so I'm going to do that again on this other side here. So let's come in, we're going to use, and I've of course used a magnetic clasp on this one. All right, so I'm going to trim off the excess there, set that aside. And again, I'm just going to open up that glue again. Add that little extra dab there, kind of really saturate that knot. Close up my glue. All right. And now let's not make that same mistake again. Let's go ahead and set it in our pliers. You can see I've kind of set it into the side there so I can just sort of grip it. All right, and then coming in and over the knot. And then giving it a little squeeze. I know my fingers are kind of in the way. I'm trying to keep them out while keeping tabs on that magnetic clasp. But the glue does take a little bit to dry, so it's not like you have to move super quickly, but you definitely want to try to get some of that glue to adhere to that crimp cover there. All right, beautiful. So you see how we have a nice look there, a nice finished look to the ends. It does add a little bit more metal there, but I like the way that it looks. I think it also adds a little security to your pieces there. And again, I love the idea of using those wire protectors. It just helps just that little bit for that added security. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. You can get all of these supplies and see even more tutorial videos by heading over to Beadaholique.com. And if you're new to our YouTube channel here, be sure to hit that subscribe button below to get all the latest from Beadaholique.